Hey, good Sunday evening, everyone. It is February 1st, 2026, and a lot of folks may be looking forward to some warmer weather. We've got a little of that showing up in our forecast. We'll get to that here in just a second. But even the snow lovers seem like they're kind of over winter and over some of the snow that we've had around here for the last week. And we're not the only ones dealing with it. It extends to our south into Arkansas, to our west into Kansas, and then a big storm system the last few days making its way up the East Coast, places like Augusta, Georgia. That's right, where the Masters are played. And then parts of South Carolina, really most of the state, North Carolina, and all the way up the mid Atlantic and into the Northeast, dealing with a lot of snow on the ground and some areas that don't see a lot of snow either. So here we go, live view this evening from the Perryville Airport, just across the bridge from Chester, Illinois. And I wanted to show this view because if you pull up your radar app, maybe that's the Nick Hausen weather app, and you might see some snow showing up. What we're seeing is a lot of dry air down here at the ground level. So what's falling out of the clouds is evaporating before it actually makes it to the ground. Notice no flakes showing up here on the Perryville Airport camera. But there's the view at radar this evening. There's a chance that we could see a couple of snow showers making their way in as we go through at least the next 12 hours or so. Most likely focus through the evening hours and into the very early morning hours on Monday. At this point, we're not anticipating much, but I can't entirely rule out a brief dusting of snow in a few areas, much like what we saw on Friday morning, maybe enough to cover the pavement in a few spots, but most well-traveled roads are not going to have any issues. So let's time things out the next couple of days, because this is not the only chance for a little bit of winter weather here in our forecast. You've probably heard a lot of talk about the next week or so, maybe bringing some more winter weather, and I'm kind of here to help alleviate some of your concerns. Notice through the evening hours, this was the projected radar. Not a whole lot showing up again. Maybe some flurries, maybe a snow shower or two, and we could see a light dusting. Can't entirely rule that out. Monday is a dry day here in southern Illinois. But then as we look ahead to Monday, this is Monday night and into Tuesday, we start to see what looks like maybe some patchy freezing drizzle. Right now on Tuesday is really our next chance that we could see maybe a little bit of winter weather. Not anticipating really big impacts here in our area. However, the ground is so cold. There is some concern that as temperatures actually go above freezing Monday and then again on Tuesday, what's falling as rain on Tuesday may at least briefly have enough cold air left down in the ground that we could see some freezing develop, mainly on bridges, overpasses, things like that. So that will be something to keep in mind as we head into Tuesday afternoon. Notice, though, this is green across much of southern Illinois. So right now we are expecting most of what's going to fall on Tuesday, and it is going to be very light, not a lot of rain, but it is likely going to fall in a liquid form. The one exception is maybe along the I-64 corridor where we could see a little bit of sleet, maybe even a few snowflakes mixed in. But the last couple of days, we've started to see temperatures trend a little warmer on Tuesday. So right now, I am not anticipating major impacts by any means, but I can't entirely rule out maybe some minor impacts Tuesday afternoon. Notice this thing kind of wraps up as some flurries, gets on out of here. So again, little to no impacts expected here in our area. So once again, kind of recapping that, light dusting possible Sunday night, early Monday morning. Lesser traveled rural roads, maybe some side streets could see some light dusting. Tuesday, right now, we're seeing this trend warmer and warmer. So we're anticipating that most of what's going to fall in southern Illinois is going to be rain, and it is going to be less than 1/10 of an inch. So again, not expecting much in the way of impacts. However, initially as it starts, we'll have to keep an eye on some of the surface temperatures as they could still be below freezing. So maybe some bridges, some sidewalks, things like that could actually briefly be slick on Tuesday. Something to kind of keep in mind. But here's your 5-day forecast. And finally, some warmer air showing up in that forecast. 38 Monday, there you go. 36 on Tuesday. A brief cool down middle of the week, and then rebounding quickly Thursday and Friday. In fact, by Friday, we're going to really kickstart the melting trend as we are expecting temperatures to climb back into the mid 40s. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate our sponsors as well. This one brought to you by Park Mix On-Site Concrete and Concrete Pumping, located on the east side of Marion. Their phone number listed right there. 618-997-3889. Now, make sure you're contacting them for all your concrete needs. They'll save you some time. They'll save you some money. So again, appreciate Clark Mix On-Site Concrete for helping support these weekly videos. All right, let's hop back over to the models here and kind of look out ahead for the next couple of weeks, as we are tracking some warmer air showing up. Big trough off the eastern coast. That is something we've been dealing with for really the last week and a half or so here in the area. Finally going to start seeing some change. Now, there's that little cool down we were talking about on Wednesday with a little trough in the southeast. But by Friday, that moves east, shifts up into the northeastern U.S. Look at that. But out west, ridge starts to build. That is going to usher in some warmer air. And I want to go ahead and zoom into early part of next week, not this week. We're this is about anywhere from 8 to 10 days away. But look what happens here as we start to see the ridge build up across the eastern U.S., the trough situated out west, and that is a pattern, folks, that is likely going to bring us some warmer air. That's the jet stream dipping back across the western half of the U.S. and then kind of arcing right over top of us. And we're going to cross our fingers that as we get closer to, say, Valentine's Day, that we've got some warmer air heading our way. Models really picking up on that, and there you go, kind of favoring that pattern. We're talking maybe temperatures in the 40s and 50s consistently for a few days. So again, crossing our fingers, still about, say, 8 to 10 days away, but something to look forward to. That's right, some warmer air finally showing back up. And if you are also looking forward to something here, let me switch this graphic up just a little bit, slide her on over here to the left. 60 minutes of daylight are going to be gained during the month of February. So we're not only going to see some warmer air towards the middle of the month, we should start to see a little more daylight as well throughout the month. It's something you may notice. Our sunrises now are actually before 7 a.m. February is kind of a transition month. Still some chances for some winter weather out there, but we're getting closer and closer to spring. We'll be keeping a track of some of those light chances for winter weather over the next few days. You can too with the Nick Hausen weather app. We appreciate your support, folks. Still, I know we've got a few more days of this cold weather, but try to stay warm. Again, we'll hopefully see some of the melting of the snow occur here over the next week.